just started.
Yeah, I infiltrated their shitty little cluster. I went over there.
Wait, can I get on camera? Can you tell me about it on camera?
Yeah, go on then.
Go on then, right, so what did you see, Sean?
No, I went over there. I took my camera over there before the old Bill got down here. I was going over to him. I was like, please explain to me, why are we far right? Why are the pink ladies far right and all that lot, right? And then they're turning around and they can't even answer a simple question. All they kept on doing was singing their silly little chants over me or blocking their face with their placards, and they couldn't answer a simple question, mate. I was like, tell me, no, honestly, please tell me, right? I got one word out of one of them. She was like, because you're all Nazis on my camera. She was like, because you're all Nazis. I was like, why are we all Nazis? Because you've got the leader of the National Front down here. I was like, who's the leader of the National Front? Who is that? I'm like, who's the leader of the National Front? Tell me the name. And then she didn't tell me. Her pal put the black placard in front of her face and blocked her from speaking. She's like, can you go away, please? You're harassing her. We don't want to talk. I'm like, how am I harassing you? You've come down here to cause trouble, you bloody mug. Do you know what I mean? You've come down here to cause trouble. You got the old Bill that's just turned up, wastes the police time to bloody protect you, mob, when you've come down here for the aggro. Explain that one. It's pathetic. Do you know what I mean?
Alright guys, go and give Sean a follow at The Uncensored Patriots on X and Instagram. So they're currently chanting women's rights and migrants' rights. One struggle, one fight. Don't think they are one struggle, one fight, but...
White women trying to decourage them to come into the country to rape white girls.
So hello everyone, we are outside the Home Office where there is currently two protests going head to head. So on one side we have the Pink Ladies, and that was the originally scheduled protest, and then on the other side we have Stand Up to Racism, or there might be Antifa, I'm honestly not sure, but judging by the sign I think it's mostly Stand Up to Racism, and they arranged a protest basically as soon as they heard about the Pink Ladies coming here to counter against them. Obviously they're chanting the usual thing, saying that the Pink Ladies are far right, they're Nazis, they're fascists, they're this, they're that, the other. But as we've just heard from Sean, he actually went over and asked them to define what they mean by far right, what they mean by Nazi, and they didn't have an answer. So again, it's just a classic facing off of two protests, big police presence. I know that the Pink Ladies are supposed to be marching to Downing Street. I don't know when the march is set to take off. It's a beautiful sunny day, fantastic day for a protest, I'd say. But yeah, so we're going to be probably heading off to march to Downing Street at some point soon. And that was when, if you guys saw on Orla Minahane's social media, she said that they are actually going to be handing a letter to Downing Street. I'm not sure how that's going to work, if they've actually arranged to be able to physically hand in the letter, or if it's more, symbolic and there'll be a reading in front of Downing Street.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to disturb you. I saw you, but I
thought
thought
you...
you...
disturb away,
hello.
Yeah, say hi.
Hello, hi, everybody. How's everyone?
Good.
I'm just here to support the Pink Ladies. I knew I had to come and support them, and I got my top on as well.
Oh my God, hi, how you doing? Yeah. Sorry, I'm turning it. Honestly. Oh, wait, let me turn this around.
Yeah.
So, what are you thinking of the Stand Up to Racism so far?
See, to be honest, I wanted to go there. I wanted to speak to them. I wanted to know why is it that they are here. I get it why we are here. I get it. But why is there a counter protest for people getting raped, getting murdered? People are not making this up anymore. It is in the news. It's literally everywhere. So I went to speak to them, but they start calling me a Nazi and a fascist. So they won't speak to me. So I think not only this is a waste of their own time, but also the Pink Ladies are here to give out a message. That message get lost when there's these guys just shouting for no reason. And if the counter protest wasn't there, If it was only the pink ladies protesting, people would come here and they will try to listen what's going on. But because of this, people don't want to be here anymore. And unfortunately, like I said, I don't get it why they're here. They won't tell me. So I think it's absolutely crazy. They shouldn't be here.
Can I just get one more shot of your jumper?
Oh yeah. Oh wait. Yes.
Go then. White lives matter. White lives matter. Thanks, Jimmy.
Take care.
Lovely
I'll
to
see
see you. Lovely to see you.
Nice to see you.
You as well. Okay, so guys, we have Emma Parr here. First of all, just shout out where people can find you on X and then say why you're here today.
You can find me, this is Emma PX. I'm from Chelmsford. I spoke at the Pink Lady demo in Chelmsford in November, and I've been supporting the cause ever since. I think that I don't understand why anyone can argue with women dressed in pink.
Switch sides, it's gone really dark for some reason.
I don't understand why anyone can argue with women dancing around in pink, really. I mean, you've got the far-right activists over there, you know, causing trouble and stuff. And, you know, on the newspaper yesterday we had, you know, a guy came from Egypt, which isn't a war-free country. He's not fleeing war, sorry. You know, why has he come here? He's fleeing from a murder and he's raped a girl in Brighton. I just think it's terrible. So we need to stand up for our country, we need to say no, and that's why I'm here today. So.
Brilliant. Cheers, Emma. Nice seeing you again. Oh, and Emma has recently been on the Speak Freely podcast, and her episode will be out soon. Oh, we have speeches. So we have Orla Minahane on the mic.
Because we are decent women and they are devils. I just want to make sure I've got this turned up. Is it all right? I just want to say to all of you here today that you are on the right side of history. They are not. And let me say something, I guarantee you that none of them have got children, because if they did, they wouldn't be over there shouting their hatred for women who are mothers and grandmothers who want to protect their daughters from illegal migrant rapists. Now I am very, 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 very angry at this nonsense. I cannot fathom in my wildest dreams how women could stand there and shout abuse at us when we know that women like were stabbed to death by illegal migrant men. We want to be protected. We want our children to be
Shawnee's
protected.
filming right now, mate.
And there is nothing racist, there's nothing Nazi, there's nothing fascist about that. It is our right as human beings and mothers and women of this country to be kept safe. Since Labour came into government, 70,000 illegal migrant men, 70,000. That is 4 times the capacity of the O2 in Canary Wharf. They have come here into this country with no documentation, no vetting, and they have been put in the middle of towns and cities, next to children's schools, next to our homes, and we are expected to suck it up and watch our children be assaulted. Well, I will not have it, and neither will you. Now today, we've got some guest speakers, and then we're going to leave here at 1 o'clock. And we are going to walk to Downing Street. And at Downing Street, we are going to go in, and we are handing a letter to Keir Starmer. There he is there, look, he's looking a bit worse for wear. And before he letter, and the letter is from all of us to him, and I will read what it says, and when we get there, myself and a young lady called Abby Johnson will be going in to hand that letter over. Abby Johnson is a 22-year-old girl who was raped by a Syrian migrant. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, you evil witches. Sorry, I'm very agitated today. But what I'm going to do is to prove to everybody, and I don't mean to do this to you in a negative way, this is a very positive thing. I want to prove that we're not racists. I want to prove that this isn't just because we're white. I want to prove that it doesn't matter whether these men coming across the channel were blonde-haired and blue-eyed, they still are unchecked. So they pose a risk, it doesn't matter what they look like. And by proving that, I'm going to invite the most beautiful, wonderful woman up here now, who doesn't look like me, isn't white and blonde hair, but she still has a problem with it, because she isn't racist either. Come on. I'm going to let her introduce herself to you, and I'm going to let her tell you why she is also concerned.
Hi everyone, my name is Khadija Brown and I'm a migrant in this country, but I choose to stand not because with everyone here, not because it's about racism, not because it's about Britons versus immigrants, it's because it's a fight of right over wrong, right versus wrong. The immigrants have committed far too many crimes. As an immigrant myself, I cannot absolve all immigrants from responsibility. I have spent my whole life mixing with different immigrants from different groups, and I know just as much as every other immigrant, no matter how many generations they've been here in the UK, that crime does happen within immigrant communities. Why do we bury our heads in the sand and claim that there is no trouble? How many more girls, how many more children, how many more women are going to get attacked and we're going to stay quiet? This is at this point it's becoming a tribalist war. What the lefties are doing shows us that it's a tribalist war. It is a war against Britons. It's a war against British rights, British culture, English heritage, and we have to stand united. And I have felt so depressed this morning. I was contemplating not coming. I was saying to myself, can I come? Should I come? Can I make a change? Will there be any chance of a change happening when we have the left barking at us all day and night, and we have the right so divided? If we don't unite against this evil, we will serve the general elections on a golden plate to the Green Party and the lefty monsters. So what do you choose? Do you choose to stand for Britain regardless of race or religion, or do you choose to stand for division and hand the Green Party our elections in our country? Please tell me what you choose, because this is not about a race. And of course there is haters everywhere, there's haters from every side, and it's all down to education, it's all down to knowledge, it's all down to passing the information in a kind and compassionate way, and it's time we all unite. I get it, the reason why I speak, I mean at the end of the day, most of the children and the people that are attacked by those migrants are white. And as a brown woman, I know that white women are very desired by migrants. It's true. Why do we deny this? It's a very known thing. In fact, we spend our whole lives trying to be lighter skinned to please those migrants, those men. So why do we lie about it? I will stand and put my hand up and say, yes, immigration is an issue. And I personally believe immigration, both legal and illegal, is a big bloody problem. And if it wasn't a problem, then we won't have trade suffering at the hands of culprits like Sadiq Khan. They are good, white, British men and women that just want to be safe in their own country. They don't want their culture to be taken over. They don't want their children to be raped. They want to walk on the streets feeling safe. And this is why most migrants come to the UK, to be safe. So why should we give up our safety for monsters that the Home Office is refusing to vet? Enough is enough, and we ought to stand united.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Wonderful. Now, when we walk down to Downing Street, hold on, it's the hip. Since I turned 50, it's all gone wrong. When we walk down to Downing Street, I want everyone to take one of these posters that I made at 6 o'clock this morning. And you know what? Even though this movement started outside hotels because of illegal migrant men that were being housed in the hotels and what they were doing to our daughters, so much over the last year since Rupert Lowe did the rape gang inquiry, so much more has come out. And they are so intertwined, the two things. So whilst it's only recently that women like us and men have been talking about the issue of illegal migrant hotels, for decades, little girls, little white British girls have been raped at the hands of Pakistani Muslim gangs. Now, if you'd have said this a few years ago, you would have been called every name under the sun. But we know it's fact. We know it happened. We know that it is still happening. And we have raised this to Sadiq Khan. Susan Hall, who was supposed to be here today, raises this every week, and she is ignored. How longer are we going to be ignored? Why are we being ignored? Why are the last people on the radar of this government and the government before? Why are little white British girls but at the bottom of the queue for protection? Why? Why is that? Any country, any decent civilization would make sure that the women and the most vulnerable within their society were protected. But yet, in the United Kingdom, that is not the case. Why is it not the case? Someone tell me. They can't.
That's why.
Thank you. There you go. Now I'm going to hand you over to a lady called Lucy, and she's going to tell you about corruption within the Home Office.
Hey guys, so I'm Lucy White. I would just like to talk about the corruption in the Home Office. So there was a migration officer named Imran Mullah who was taking bribes from illegal migrants to grant them asylum. So essentially, the Home Office is employing foreigners, who I believe was a Bangladeshi, named Imran Mullah. He was taking bribes of around £2,000+ per illegal migrant to grant them asylum. Another fact is that 2/3 of all illegal migrants are granted asylum. And it's not because they merit it in any way, it's actually because the illegal migrants will have their application rejected, but then they go back and repeal that, and every single time the Home Office has to keep opening these cases. It takes a long time and it's very costly. So for the Home Office to reduce their backlog, they simply approve many cases. As I say, it's about 2/3 of all illegal migrants have their asylum claims approved, and therefore they are then here with some sort of legality, you could call it. But another issue to think about is the top 5 nationalities or countries that these men come from is Afghanistan, Syria, Sudan, Eritrea and Iran. Now these 5 countries, again, are all Muslim countries, and these men do not respect their women, and they are coming here and they are disrespecting our women too. On average, every single year there are around 50,000 plus illegal migrants entering our country. And I just want to raise the point that yes, illegal migration is a huge issue, but the biggest issue is also legal migration.
100%.
Whether they come on planes or boats or in the back of the lorry, they are all coming here because our corrupt Home Office is granting them visas. I don't care if they are legal. I don't care if they have a visa. They should not be in our country. Did you know in 2023,
100%.
in 2023, this Home Office allowed 1.32 million migrants into our country legally. By the way, legally.
Disgusting.
Almost fell. Yeah, so think about that. In a year, you have 1.32 million migrants entering, and the government, the Home Office, will gaslight us. They will tell you these are non-EU migrants, when in fact, if you look at the countries they come from, they are all third world countries. The top 7 nationalities of legal migrants are all from the third world. So the question is, why on earth is this Home Office still here? If it were up to me, it would be completely abolished because it is not fit for purpose.
100%.
Now, before I hand over to Orla, another point I would like to raise is this. In 2021, one of our MPs, Sir David Amess, was tragically murdered by someone called Ali Harbi Ali. And did you know that this Home Office actually knew who Ali Harbi Ali was? He was on their so-called prevent list, which is a counter-terrorism watch list. So the authorities knew who Ali Harbi was, they knew that he was a threat, and yet they granted him the freedom to walk our streets and murder an MP, Sir David Amess. And on top of this, as we know, Axel Ruda Kabana, who again, apparently was a legal migrant from Rwanda, Axel Ruda Kabana was also on the prevent list, and yet he was granted the freedom to walk our streets and to kill the girls at Southport. So why on earth is there a prevent scheme by the Home Office if it knows who the terrorists are and yet grants them the freedom to wander our streets? When these terrorists or potential terrorists are granted freedom, the freedom of society as a whole is sacrificed. So I demand, in fact, this Home Office should completely be abolished and we should start again, and we should not have it. We cannot sit at home and watch this news day after day and become normalised. It's becoming normalised. Absolutely not. As I say, on average, there's 849 illegal migrants every single week entering our country. Enough is enough. Thank you.
100%.
I was just thinking, if they abolish the Home Office, they'll fill this building full of migrants, so let's keep them in there. Anyway, do you know what? I'm just looking at this lot, and I'm looking at their posters that say, Women Against the Far Right. Can I just look around? Have you ever seen a more lovely bunch of individuals as us lot standing here? Look at us. Attractive, clean. Sorry. Right, now I'm going to ask, before, I'm actually waiting for someone to come, but I think she's delayed, so we'll put some more music on, and in a minute we're going to play our favourite song, which we love when we see lefties. It's our trademark. But first of all, I just want, God, they're in the news, aren't they? What I want is a couple of ladies to do me a favour. Victoria, pick that picture up, please.
They're boring, they're fucking boring.
They are fucking boring. Excuse, Charlotte, grab that picture there, darling, of Katie.
I can help, mate.
And I'll grab this.
Hey,
now,
yo.
I'm going to show you these pictures, ladies. Now, those of you who are in Chelmsford may know this already. But you know who this is, right? This is Rhiannon White. Rhiannon White was murdered. She was stabbed to death 23 times with a screwdriver. With a screwdriver on her way home from work in a migrant hotel. He had been in the country for 8 weeks. He'd already been expelled from Germany and from Denmark, and no one knows why, because no one knows who he is. They just know by his fingerprints that he was expelled. He said that he was underage. underage so he'd get a lesser sentence. And his human rights under the ECHR meant he couldn't have a bone density test. How about her human rights?
Disgusting.
She's left behind a 6-year-old boy who is now motherless.
Good joke.
Does anyone know who this is? No, of course you don't. Do you know why? Because no one tells you. That is Katie Fox. She was murdered by an illegal migrant man when she came out of a shopping centre in Birmingham. On the streets at 9 o'clock at night.
Why isn't that
But
on the
no
news?
one tells you about it because they don't want you to know. Do you know who this is? This is Stephanie Irons. Stephanie Irons was also murdered. This is all in the last year by an illegal migrant man. And why don't you know about it? Because no one wants you to know. How many more do we not know about? Now, I'm not going to say, because I don't want to get arrested, I'm not going to mention anything about Epsom. But I have got a lot of question marks around that too.
100%, 100%.
Because if you look at two women and you haven't heard one thing about them on mainstream media, what else are we not hearing about? We are being lied to, things are being covered up, and I am telling you now that more rapes are happening every week than you could possibly imagine, and the parents are being shut up and they are being gagged. And they're being threatened, and they're being told that this man will not serve sentences if you open your mouth. Are we living in North Korea, or is this the United Kingdom?
Shame on the BBC.
I had a man contact me the other day from Liverpool. And in Liverpool he said that there are so many sexual assaults on young girls that fathers are now going around the streets at 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning and patrolling the streets because Muslim men are getting in their cars and driving around and picking girls up outside bars who are a little bit tipsy and saying, oh, have you ordered an Uber? Yeah. They get in the car, they pull up, more men get in and they gang rape them. Then they throw them out of the taxi into the street. And this is happening every week. The council know, the police know, and no one does anything. This has got to change. It has got to change. It is not okay. If this was, with all due respect, if these were black girls, this would not be happening. And we're the racists. I'm going to play some music now, everyone. We're going to have a little dance, and then hopefully Abby will be here, and we will then start. We'll read the letter and then go down to Downing Street. Okay, so we're going to play our favourite.
Right, guys, I'm going to come away for a little bit because the music will get the stream copyrighted. So I'm going to try and come over here. However, if the music gets a little bit too loud and you guys can still hear it, I might just have to put the stream on mute for just a little bit. Because obviously, yeah, it will copyright the stream. Nope. We have the pink ladies facing off here.
90s, you know what we're protesting about. You're destroying your own future. You've got a self-destructive mentality. When I was young, life used to be great. Look at the people we're living in now. You're destroying your own future. Used to be a wonderful place. You're destroying your own futures. You have a self-destructive mentality. You know what it used to be like? Wonderful place.
Do you know who Rihanna's White is? Have you taken a refugee into your home? Have you taken a refugee into your home? I bet not. I bet not. How are they Nazis? How are they Nazis? Okay, define. You have to back up a claim like that. You have to back up a claim like that. You can't define fascist or Nazi. You can't define it.
I'm filming. I'm here reporting. Yeah. So under section 17. Do your job. I step away. That's fine. But please don't put your hands in me. Yeah. Because I'll put in a. sort
No, 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 no. Stop the fascism!
Communist scum off our streets! 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 Communist scum!
Oh, someone's sign's been nicked. Oh, so it's not your spit then? Oh God, ew! They all spitting at you, that's gross.
When I go up here, I had a woman earlier on, it's very frothy mouthed people, you know?
Oh no.
Just remember it though.
Something's happening over there.
This is wrong with nothing wrong with that. It's not about being racist. This is not about being racist. This is about our children, our women. Doesn't matter what nation you come from. It's a respect for your children.
Disgrace to women! We are not fascists! We are not women! We are women! We are your rights! And bougie here. Are you trying to elbow me?
Sorry?
Sorry.
No, I did the first
Okay. It's hard to tell when it's deliberate or not.
Sorry?
It's hard to tell when it's deliberate or not.
These children are dead. You're a witch. You're a witch. How are you, mate? Where's Shoah?
So it's based in bougie, getting kicked out of the Stand Up to Racism crowd. What makes her a fascist? What makes her a fascist?
We're trying to keep a cordon here, please.
Push down a bit.
Everyone's favourite tune. Actually haven't moved. The protesters themselves have actually moved back voluntarily. Wow, look at the litter! Why are they littering so much? I've seen no rubbish on the floor left from the Pink Ladies, but look, there's leaflets everywhere, all torn up. Who's going to be tidying that up? Is that the council's job? Every single time I just see litter left by these guys. Not a single spot of rubbish from the Pink Ladies. But you look over to their side. This is the respect they have for their country.
That's the copper. You know, copper there. That's the guy that saved us. That copper there.
Which one?
The one there. He fucking saved us. He's fucking sound him. He's sound.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's the guy that saved us. Maybe I shouldn't be like showing his face. But I'm gonna go ask him if he's alright. You know, when we film people, because I don't want to like get him in trouble.
Sorry guys, that was Charlotte I just saw, and if you guys might have seen my video. I don't know if any of you remember the 2C New Media Conference that took place last year. I went to that, and while we were waiting for our cab outside a random restaurant, because we'd walked, there was a bit of time before the after party, so we went to a pub, and while we were waiting for our cab outside that restaurant, a random guy came over and started attacking us, and then we got saved by this absolute beast of a police officer who got out of the van and with no hesitation just tased him. The video went completely viral. If you go on my X or on my YouTube, it will be on there. I think it's titled "Alleged Migrant Attacks Me and My Colleagues," and on X it got like something stupid. Like it still gets retweeted out all the time, but it's there for everyone to see. And you can watch as the officer gets out the van, tases the guy, and he goes down like a sack of potatoes. But yeah, so that was Charlotte, and she was there. She was another witness to the whole thing. Like she videoed it as well. And I think she posted it on her Instagram.
How can you stand there and defend the rights of women? You bunch of mugs! You're a bunch of idiots!
Yeah, so that was the officer that completely saved our asses. Do you want to, can you explain your sign? I'm really curious about your cause, I would love to know more. Can you explain your sign? Do you identify as a woman? Women against the far right. Racist lies. Refugees are not to blame.
Yes,
can you define enough? This is what you get when you try and ask questions. They just don't want to talk. They never want to talk. You want to explain what's on your sign? I try to be polite, I really do. I don't bite, I'm a lovely person.
I'm not afraid. She's got a big dad, and she was 9 years old. I'm not going to say no names, but she was brutally murdered and raped by a non-British person. This is not right. This is really happening.
was on the top when all this stuff happened with AY. Apparently some lady attacked him as well and made him leave. I mean, I know he's alright, he's AY. Some of these people are putting their hands on people.
I love this big flag. Great big flags, they're brilliant.
Communist scum off our street! Communist scum off our street! Our street! Our street! Our street! Our street!
I would have had it on camera.
I'd have had it.
What happened with you then? Because the police were bugging you. What was going on with that?
The woman attacked me.
Attacked you? What'd she do?
Look what she's done to my arm, look.
Oh, she scratched you.
Yeah, badly and all. I
Might have to lob it off.
But not in that situation, Emma. Yeah. Could be a little bit.
That's behind the scenes content.
Behind the scenes, that's on my OnlyFans. That's on my. Yeah, I'm okay.
So this is Starmer. Oh, hang on, my gimbal's gone off balance. Let me try and get a shot of his face. There we go. Look at that.
It's scary as hell, isn't it?
It is scary. It is.
Like Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah. Sorry guys, I just realised that I was stood right next to the speakers, so there's a good chance that this stream is going to get copyrighted and demonetized. So I don't like to do the whole donation thing too much, but if you would like to support I'd have a buy me a coffee, but if you'd like to support and get something back for yourself, you can go on my website, espeaksfreely.com, and you can order issue 1 of the Propaganda magazine. It's my free speech magazine. We've got fantastic contributors in there. We've got a free download in there. And issue 2 is coming soon in May. All donations and all purchases of anything goes towards the cost that it takes to cover protests, the cost of printing and distributing the magazine, and just helping to cover the stories that the mainstream media refuse to, or covering the same stories but without the biased spin that the mainstream media will give you. So if you would like to support, I'd really appreciate it. Of course, you can always do the super chats in YouTube as well, but if you'd like to support and get something back for yourself, ordering the Propaganda magazine is a great way to do that. Oh, also, there is now eSpeaks Freely mugs on the website as well, and hopefully there's going to be more merch coming soon. So yeah, if you guys would like to support, that would be amazing, because if the stream gets copyrighted and demonetized, well, it sucks, but you know, I'm still going to leave it up.
That's the thing. Yeah, I just want to hear it.
What's going on?
Well, the thing is, we were standing there and the women were pushing me, and he keep coming up saying, "Oh, you're harassing women." Yeah, just watch your mouth. Which way are you going?
What's happened? Yeah, what's happened? I know, I just want to get shocked around a bit. That's all right.
So yeah, that is wrong. But that is wrong. What do you mean harassing? I'm not following him. It's a free plug. I can be anywhere I want to be.
Absolutely.
He swore at me first, so you're going to forget that he swore at me. And my response somehow has become a problem. I'm not a I'm shorter than you. What do you mean short? It doesn't. How do you think I'm going to score a criminal? I'm even shorter than you. I can't do it. Yeah, I know what you're saying. But the thing is, he's chatting nonsense. That's all I was saying. That's all. Nothing else.
Being abusive, that's all.
Yeah. I'm not following him. I'm not here.
Tell us what happened over there. So, you know me, I'm always taking pictures of protest, and that's how there's a short guy there. He was harassing an 80 years or 90 years old woman. I told him, why are you harassing that guy? He was laughing, and I was filming him. I normally don't react.
I think the pink ladies are on the move. I think the pink ladies are getting ready to march now.
So listen, I just want to read you the letter that is going to Keir Starmer. I think it's really important that you all know what it says.
Can I speak?
Because it's on behalf of all of us. I have to put it here because my glasses are. Right. It says, Dear Prime Minister, I don't like to call him dear, but it's manners. Dear Prime Minister, we write to you as the Pink Ladies, a dedicated group of British mothers and grandmothers who are united in our profound concern for the safety and the future of the children of this country and our communities. We represent thousands of ordinary British women who can no longer stay silent whilst we face the crisis that threatens the very existence and fabric of our existence. We demand to understand what actions you and your government are taking to protect us from the ever-growing rape epidemic that is sweeping this country. Every solitary day, another woman or child is sexually assaulted, raped, and in some cases murdered on the streets of the UK. Yet, your silence is deafening. Whilst we acknowledge there are many white men who commit heinous offences against women and children, over the past 20 years, the rates of sexual crime has risen by 400%. Based on statistical facts, we understand that this is due to the vast numbers of unchecked and undocumented men that you and previous governments have allowed into our country. Mass uncontrolled immigration is literally killing our children, ruining their lives and destroying societies. None of us were asked, none of us were consulted, and none of us agreed. Today we are delivering this letter to you directly and asking you to formally meet with us, representatives of the Pink Lady movement, as well as a young lady who herself has been sexually assaulted at the hands of a migrant man from Syria. We believe that as the Prime Minister of this country, it is your job to attend and it is our right to demand. We want to understand the following. A, what is your plan for the 70,000 men that have entered the UK on boats since you came into power? B, you claim to be closing down hotels, but we know that these men are being taken from the hotels and housed in HMOs and camps in cities and towns next to families and communities with no safeguarding checks. C, we want to know what your plans are for border control moving forward to control the mass influx of illegal migrant men that will be crossing during the summer period. And D, finally, when are you going to start putting the rights and safeguarding of British women and children before the rights of alien men from alien cultures with zero respect for our way of life? We will not be silenced as long as we have sleepless nights worrying about the safety of our children on our streets. This is a country we no longer recognise. We will not stay silent in a country where 300 women are raped every week. And we will not stay silent where you prosecute only 3% of them. We will not stay silent as long as the country is used as a hotel for the third world, whilst working families and decent taxpayers struggle to put clothes on their children's backs and food on their children's tables. And we will not stay silent while you allow the destruction of catastrophic destruction of our way of life by allowing communities and society to suffer in the name of multiculturalism. And finally, we will not stay silent while our children are sacrificial lambs to sex-craved men who believe the age of consent is 9 years old. Our movement is growing, our voices are growing, and our anger is growing. And the final word to you, Prime Minister, is this. A mother's love knows no law and knows no pity. It dares to do things and it crushes down those that stand in its path with little remorse. So you, Prime Minister, would do well to remember that there is nothing more powerful than the love of a mother for her child. We await your response. Yours sincerely, the Pink Ladies. Okay, on that note, let's walk to Downing Street, everyone.
Order for MBA. Knighthood.
If everyone could grab a slide and carry it with them, please. There's a couple about. Make sure you bring them with us. Thank you.
Waste of time.
Hey Dave, you're right. How you doing? Oh, lovely to see you.
Yeah, coming down Thursday.
Eh?
Coming down Thursday.
Oh yeah, Thursday. Yeah, I will be.
Good,
So,
great,
yeah,
Glenn.
yeah, oh, yeah, we'll be just over there.
Well, yeah, I'm coming Thursday as well.
Yeah. No, we'll
Metaphorically
be there.
speaking.
We'll be there. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad. I've been very well the last few weeks.
No.
No, I'm all right, you know, I'm getting better now, but I had to cycle all the way down to Baker Street, and I feel, you know, wish I could go home now, you know. Yeah, it's just,
Do you want to say a little bit on that?
yeah, go on, give it a go. Oh,
Go on then. So guys, I'm here with Dave Atherton, and Dave, why are you out supporting the Pink Ladies today?
Well, you know, yesterday, 3 so-called refugees were convicted of rape. One is a convicted murderer from Egypt. You know, and we got there's morons down the road there supporting them. All the rape apologists. Absolutely disgusting. No, it's good to see that there's far more of us than there are of them. We showed, you know, it looks like we showed a lot more fortitude in trying to get here, despite all the tube strikes that are going on at the moment. I think we've done a fantastic job. You know, well done, ladies. You know, another great show from Orla and everybody else. You know, and they just don't want to engage down there. You ask them, well, what about the three refugees from yesterday? Don't care, don't know.
And Orla has just announced that she'll be, attempting to be handing a letter to Keir Starmer to facilitate a meeting with Keir Starmer and the representatives of the Pink Ladies. Do you think Starmer will do it or listen?
I doubt it. You know, Jess Phillips, for example, you know, she sees the women's minister, and you know, she championed herself as being, you know, being the standing against violence against women. You know, and she's been a complete and utter failure on the national inquiry. She didn't want it in the first place. You know, she's trying to fiddle the terms of reference, like, for example, the motivations, you know, of the groomers and the rapists, you know, from often from the northern towns like Rotherham and what have we, and Rochdale. But no, I know it's just sheer hypocrisy. I don't think Keir Starmer in a month of Sundays will be seeing them, because he'd probably get far too many home truths and lots of stuff he doesn't want to hear.
Brilliant. Thanks, Dave.
Cheers.
Make sure you go and give Dave a follow on X at Dave Atherton. I'm just gonna, wow, look at the police over there. That's a lot. I'm just gonna set my camera down for a couple of minutes while I just put my jacket in my bag, because it's gonna get warm on the march.
Like I said before, I can't get it. And being illegal, we can't even claim any benefit. I don't mind. But the thing is, well, I won't say it's an exchange. Really, it's illegal. I sent an email to the boss and I said, no matter what you're doing, I don't want to do it. Even if I can't. Yeah. Bro, I've always been on taking everything for it. I don't need the fucking benefit. But now, look what they did to the job. Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. I'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm not going to leave. I did an April Fool's job. People were calling me. You leave it. I'm not going to leave. Bro, they locked me up for doing all
Okay guys, so I'm just waiting for the Pink Ladies to start the march. If you've just joined and you're not sure what's going on, we are currently outside the Home Office where the Pink Ladies have held the first part of their protest. Has been accounted. Oh, I'm just going to move away from the music just in case the stream gets copyrighted. So over here, well, they're all leaving now. We've had the Stand Up to Racism protesters who have been here standing against the Pink Ladies.
See you later, you dirty communist trench. You dirty commie. Bye-bye, you dirty commies. Go and have a bath. Terrorist appalling scum.
Is there a digital copy of the first issue of Propaganda? So no, there isn't. The idea with making obviously the magazine was to return to analog, return to physical copies, something that can't be deleted or scrubbed from servers or anything like that. And it's what allows us to kind of also escape things like the online harms bill, so that we have to kind of censor everything that we say, which is why Propaganda is able to just be a completely free speech magazine. So at the moment it is only available to order for delivery. It's a physical magazine. And that was kind of the way that I intended it to be, but I appreciate that people want a digital copy. But to me that would kind of defeat the object of the reason we've had the Propaganda magazine. What we might do is, when I'm a bit further in and there's 5 issues out, then I might go back and start making the older ones available, via downloadable PDF or something like that. But for now, I'm trying to really promote the idea of people holding something physical, and not moving away from the online world. I say as I'm live streaming to you all. And the march is a go.
I was going to check these words. Deportation! Deportation! Whose street? Whose street? Whose street? Whose street? Whose street? Whose street? Save our kids! 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 Say it loud! Say it clear! Refugees are welcome here! Say it loud! Say it clear! Refugees are welcome here! Say it loud! Say it clear! Refugees are welcome here! Say it loud! Say it clear! Refugees are welcome here! Say it loud! Say it clear! Refugees are welcome here! Say it loud! Say it clear! Refugees are welcome here!
So just to clear up any possible confusion, they're saying refugees aren't with a T welcome here. I've just seen a few people in the crowd go, what? Because I couldn't quite understand, so I just want to let you guys know they were saying aren't with a T.
Who's right? Who's right? Who's right? Who's right? Who's right? Who's right? Save our kids! 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 Deportation! Deportation!
Save our kids! 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 Save our kids!
We have the lovely ladies of Epping. I first met these two ladies back in Epping where it all started.
Deportation! No accommodation!
Deportation! Deportation!
Fantastic numbers. The police are following in the cars. We've got some more banners, so save our kids. Wonderful, thank you ladies. I should have brought a bottle of water or something. I kind of rushed out the house too quickly. I didn't realise how boiling it was going to be. We're getting into the summer streams now, guys. Last time I did a live stream, it was still like cold and wet and everything. But now we're getting into the summer. The sun is shining. It's beautiful. Surrounded by pink and Union Jacks. I'm exactly where I want to be. Hi guys, I've seen Sean dotted around, but I've seen him with Leon. Oh no, at the moment he's interviewing Orla. But he's dotting around and he's going around getting interviews. When he's got a minute, I'll mention to him that someone's trying to get through. Support. Bystanders, not quite sure what they're looking at. I'm gonna go around the other side of the bus.
More buildings, we should be deporting more people. So that we've got less buildings, deport. We shouldn't be building more buildings. We should be sending more people back to where they came from. Because it's taking up our green belt.
Excuse me, Orla, if I can get a couple of words. I mean, yes, I first met you when this was all back in Epping. I mean, yes, it's been a long journey. How are you feeling now?
Exhausted.
I bet.
Exhausted from the long journey.
No, look, the thing is, if you look, right, look at all these women, right, the average age is what, 50?
Yeah.
You know, and everybody is a mum, and there's loads of grandmas here. I mean, these ladies are, you know, there's some great grandmothers here, and they've got the audacity, the others, you know, the lefties to call us far right. I mean, it's just nonsense.
Yeah.
You know, and it's exhausting to have to deal with this like hatred from them all the time. All we are doing is saying our children aren't safe, and we're seeing it day in and day out. Every day there is a rape, a sexual assault reported, and how many are going unreported, right? So all we're doing is saying, why is there radio silence from the government? Nobody talks about it ever. They talk about everything else except this point, you know. So for us as women, you know, we'll keep going until we get some kind of resolution, just some kind of even acknowledgement, and still nothing. It's just
do you think there will be acknowledgement? Do you think
No,
Keir
not
Starmer
no.
will come out of his rat hole?
No, because he is a rat, so he's just going to have to, you know, there will be, you know, ultimately, and I know this because I get approached by women and parents every day. There are so many rapes and assaults that we don't hear about, so many. And I just look and I think, you know, we only know the tip of the iceberg. So, you know, for him to turn around and say, yes, it's wrong, and yes, there is a problem, goes in against everything that he stands for, right? So he's not going to do that. So whilst he's in denial and he's, you know, holding the party line, literally, you know, little girls get assaulted and women get raped on beaches in Brighton.
Yeah.
And that's as simple as that.
Thanks so much for giving me a couple of minutes. You're doing really wonderful work.
Thank you.
Okay guys, so that was Orla Minahan we just heard from. She's been out since the Epping days. She organised the Pink Ladies into the group that we recognise it to be today. She really does fantastic work, and she genuinely cares about the safety of women and girls. She's a mother, as are most of the women here. I know that someone really wants to get a hold of Sean, so I'm keeping my eyes peeled. I'm not seeing him at the moment. As soon as I see him, if he's not busy, I'll let him know.
It is what community looks like. This is what community looks like. This is what community looks like. This is what. Save our kids. 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 Save our kids! Save our kids! Save our kids! Save our kids!
I'll try and get to the front so you guys can see the signs.
Save our kids! Save our kids!
So we're nearly at Downing Street now. Pink ladies are marching down Whitehall. Oh! We have Keir Starmer ready to be delivered to Keir Starmer. I wonder if that's what he sees when he looks in the mirror in the morning. A clown.
Not as pretty as
Orla and Abby.
How you doing?
Right.
More beeps of support.
I wouldn't smile when he was my boss, and he was at the front gate.
They don't seem impressed with him. Shame, eh?
Nobody likes Peter Burns over this. No. Sorry, no.
You've only got what to do and speak to people around you to see that it's all going wrong. Paying more and more taxes to France, paying more and more taxes to things, cost of living's going up. It's bullshit.
is.
All if you over there. Yeah. Keep by the wheelbarrow.
We have to go behind the concrete pillar. Please. He said please.
About me.
How are you? Oh, the little the lad that I was talking about in our interview that wants to be Prime Minister, he's here today and he went, why didn't you mention my name? I went, I didn't know if I was allowed to. He went, next time you mention my name.
Oh! Don't put your hand up like that. You'll be accused of being a Nazi.
I know, you're like dressed up in tassels and everything. How are you not boiling? It's quite cold when I left. It was freezing when I left, so I've had to put my jacket in my bag. I've got another vest on underneath this at all. Honestly. It's ridiculous.
And as soon as he's finished bombing Iran, he might have a go here as well. It's turning into a third world.
So, I thought everyone was going over here, guys, so I kind of followed, but I think... I'm not seeing Orla. I can't see Orla over there either, but I'm guessing that group has stayed because it'll be something to do with the letter. So I'm going to try and just make it back over there quickly, if traffic allows it. Yeah, so it's kind of split up into two now, so I'm going to go back over to the side of Downing Street just quickly. Honestly, it was like everywhere was really slow a minute ago, and now it's just got really busy out of nowhere. So.
A lot of them told me they were from Italy. Well, that's not a war-torn country. What the hell's going on there?
Press the button. These lights are taking ages. Carry on filming. Thank you to everyone who's joined, by the way. It's been a while since I've done a live stream. Well, to be fair, the protests that I have been able to get to, kind of like in around central London, have been a bit far and few in between. And then the other ones have just been going to Manchester. And it's not always financially feasible to get there. But I mean, if you guys would like me to start covering, protests a bit further afield, and you'd like to support and make sure I can get down there, either buy me a coffee, or if you'd like to support the channel and get something back, you can go on the East Wales Freely website and order the first issue of Propaganda. Issue 2 coming soon.
Still, they're only really paying lip service when it comes to doing that. Like a proper, genuine investigation into where he's from.
Afghanistan, there's lots of Antifa, biggest majority is Afghanistan. 194 raids a day. 194 rapes a day, that's taking the piss.
Oh, Leon, someone keeps saying in the comments that Sean's getting a call for something that's really important, but no one can get through to him. I don't know. I haven't. But I keep
trying to get. What have you seen, Sean?
I keep seeing him around, but every time I've seen him, he's been busy. I didn't want to disturb him because he was interviewing Orla, but then I've lost him
Keeps
again.
trying to get hold of it. It's about his job.
Someone said it's about his employment. I don't know if they know him, but they keep calling him Shawnee, so it sounds like him. Is he expecting a call? I'm trying to keep an eye out for him, but it seems like every time I've seen him, he's been busy, and then he's just completely disappeared.
He was over in the front. He's there.
Oh, wait.
He's there.
Oh, I see him. I see him. Oh, God. Damn it, I just got back over here. Yeah, sorry guys, there's someone in the chat has been asking about Sean. Apparently someone's trying to get a hold of him, so but every time I've seen him, he's been busy. So just trying to quickly get the message to him, and then that is my job done. Back over the road we go.
Well, good turnout from the alternative media.
Yep.
Come on, lads. Come on.
Okay, so unfortunately guys, there's some music being played, and if I don't want the stream to get copyrighted, I can't go too close to it, so I'm just going to try and go somewhere a little bit further away from the music. Trying to get somewhere a bit out of earshot of the speakers. Seems a bit difficult to do, they're very loud speakers. Well, I'll just, before they do the speeches and everything then, I'll just use this time to speak to you guys then. How are you guys doing? Good turnout today, really good turnout. The counter-protest didn't follow, and I haven't seen any signs of them setting up or another protest, so it's just the pink ladies now. My arm must really hurt after holding it. Yeah, it does. And I have noodle arms. But yeah, it can get a little bit heavy. The gimbal that I'm using has a built-in stabilizer, which is really useful. So that even if my hand is a little bit shaky, you know, it will just kind of catch all the movements. But yeah, sometimes, especially if I have like the, you know, GoPro on, the power bank on, and all the whole shebang, then yeah, it can get a bit heavy. Yeah, so we're just waiting for some speeches at the moment. So we heard from Orla earlier on, and said that we will be hearing from, I think it's Abby Johnson, I think is the woman that she said hasn't arrived yet and is running late, but she is one of the girls who's going to be going in with Orla to attempt to hand in this letter to facilitate a meeting with Starmer and the representatives of the Pink Ladies. And Abby herself was sexually assaulted by a migrant man who was from Syria. So just really kind of drives it home that people seem to think that none of these girls have skin in the game. Every girl, woman, man, child, everyone here has skin in the game. Like, Britain has become the rape capital of Europe. And that is not something that we can just ignore. That's not something that we can explain away. There is absolutely people to blame for that. And there is absolutely a way to stop that. It's not necessary. So groups like the Pink Ladies, obviously they formed kind of really in the Epping days. If you guys aren't familiar with the case in Epping, that was the Bell Hotel. So Epping is a town in Essex, small town, but it got worldwide news. I mean, even Elon Musk tweeted about Epping. And the Bell Hotel there was being used to house migrants, and while there was a man there staying as an asylum seeker called Hadush Kabatu. Now he was Ethiopian. He was an Ethiopian migrant, and I believe it was in the first 2 months of being here he sexually assaulted and made advances on a 14-year-old girl. And there was a whole situation that ensued from that. He was supposed to be deported, he was arrested, then he was supposed to be deported, then on his way to be deported he was accidentally released, and then he was found just wandering around the Chelmsford town centre. Obviously, if you are familiar with Chelmsford now and Wethersfield, there are also disused army barracks there that are now being used to house migrants, countless HMOs, hotels, and it's just everywhere. Even in my own hometown, I recently went back to visit my mom for her birthday, and there's a shopping centre there that has kind of been on the down for the last few years, but was still used, and it could have been a lovely shopping centre. There's not many main shops in the area, so if they'd have actually repurposed it as a shopping centre again, it would have been great. But apparently they're turning it into housing for migrants. Now this isn't even a hotel, it's not a HMO, it's not an army barrack, it's a disused shopping centre. So I think that is another thing that's kind of made me realise, wow, okay, where is the line going to stop? Because now we're actually broadening out into buildings that were never meant to house anyone in any capacity at any length of time. At least with a hotel you can say, well, okay, well, we look at some homelessness schemes. It makes sense for them to go into hotels because it's almost like serves as a kind of halfway house. But a disused shopping centre, that's going to have to be completely refurbished, and it's going to have to be gutted because it doesn't have any of the amenities or any of the plumbing necessary to live in, only to have shops in. So I think that is setting a dangerous precedent for now. Nothing's off limits. Sorry, anything is up for grabs. It could be the Tesco's down your road. If that goes a bit run down and people don't start going in there all the time, before long maybe that will be migrant housing. You just don't know. So this government will try anything. A shopping centre is ridiculous. Thank you. I'm really glad that someone else is seeing, because to me it was like no one was really understanding why I was so annoyed about it, but I'm glad that other people are understanding that it just goes to show that anything is up for grabs. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they said, oh, there's an abandoned school, it's going to be migrant housing. Would you guys be surprised? So, yeah. Anyway, I'm just waiting around for the music to stop. As I said, anyone who's familiar with streaming, if basically the music gets caught on the live, then I'll get copyrighted and then the stream will get demonetized. And while I don't do this for money, it makes it actually possible to come and do these things. However, if you would like to support, you can get your copy of the Propaganda magazine, which is my free speech magazine. You can find that on espeaksfreely.com, issue 2 coming soon. Or if you'd just like to donate, there is also a donations page on the website. I have a buy me a coffee. And yeah, or support the channel in the free ways, because we're all broke because the government has screwed up the country. So if you'd like to support me in the free ways, please like, share and subscribe. I'm going to have to go a bit further away from the music. Just waiting for the speeches. Nope. Here we go.
I'm not going to embarrass her, but this is the beautiful, lovely Abby. I'm not going to embarrass Abby or go into her story, but I think all of you know the background, and I want everyone to cheer for her courage today. She doesn't want to say anything, she's leaving it to me, big gob. Anyway, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go over to Downing Street and we're going to hand a letter to Keir Starmer, well, not him personally, his head's just fallen off anyway, and Shabana Mahmood. And in these letters, we read them earlier, Abby, so that you know. we are obviously asking for them to meet me as a representation of you guys and Abby, because I think she needs to know, and I think she deserves to know why what happened to her happened. So wish us luck. We're going to go over now.
So Orla and Abby are now going to be going over to Downing Street to deliver a letter that will ideally be passed on to Keir Starmer and Shabana Mahmood, which will hopefully facilitate a meeting where we will finally be able to see a meeting between the establishment and the Pink Ladies.
You got the letter in hand, all
I've got the letter here, look. Everyone's going to... Oh, the police...
Going to pass it to Keir Starmer.
Wait, let's go. Oh no, the police, look, they're giving me right up evils.
Oh, there was the rest of it.
There you go.
So guys, I've got to catch a moment.
Good luck.
You're on. Everyone's vying to get in, aren't they?
Just a moment, guys. Orla's going to hand in the letter with Abby to Shabana Mahmood and Keir Starmer.
Mate, duck down a bit. Duck down a bit. Mate, duck down.
Move back away, Russ. Oi, move back away.
Come on, man. You going in, Shane, as well? Shane, are you going in? Yeah. How you doing, man? Oh, will you wear the glasses? Put the glasses on and film it as you're walking in. Yeah. Yeah, go on, do it. Yeah, put them on. They're recording. Here, put them on.
Well done, Abby. You're very brave.
Put them on, Shane.
Well done, Abby, darling.
Thank you, Abby.
Here we go, guys. Look, we're going to upload some
Exclusive content.
exclusive content.
Don't say it too loud.
They're probably on my stream now.
Tell Starmer to stop hiding and let her in.
Let Madness in.
Oh, no, I've only brought my son's passport.
Oh, you're joking?
Joking.
Oh, shit.
I'm known to the police, so it's fine.
That's what my
If you were from Somalia, you wouldn't even need a passport to get in. Telling me from Afghanistan, we'll let you straight through. Telling me from Afghanistan.
Isn't your son supposed to be at the airport? Is he supposed to be at the airport? The suspense is killing us.
Someone in the chat said it'd be easier to cross on a dinghy.
Yeah. Just checking your asylum claim.
I'm preparing for when Rupert becomes Prime Minister.
Yeah, you can't come soon enough.
Restore Britain.
Aim high, vote low. Millions must go. Aim high, vote low. Aim high, vote low. Millions must go. Aim high, vote low. Millions must go. Yay! Millions must go. Millions must go. What a lot of them. So many policemen with guns on the street.
You're too young, mate. You've got it in your legs, mate. You're only youngster, mate. Come on. The irony of so many unvetted men in this country.
The lengths a British woman has to go to prove her identity.
Yeah. You should have dressed up as a man. Show them your IP. Show them your hotel card. Show them that. Because you're the far right. You're the far right order. The extreme far right. The pink lady. Yeah.
Come on, sister. Far right. My sister's ever been to number 10.
Here you go, look.
Remember that woman from earlier saying that we're all Nazis?
Oh, no.
And I asked her, why, how are we Nazis? Like, oh, because you've got the leader of the National Front down there. I was like, who's the leader of the National Front then? She was like,
her.
I was like, that's what I was waiting for her to open her mouth and say it, but her mate turned around and put placards in her mouth. Said that I was harassing her.
Every week.
What are you doing down here then? If you don't want to have over
suspense
chat?
Every week, mate. I'm half Jewish, try and say
Mate,
you're not fucking Jewish.
What is that, officer?
Yeah.
That's her uncle.
Yeah, apparently.
Mad, innit?
Yeah.
I know, the suspense, let them in. We've been waiting. Apparently that's Abby's uncle as well, that police officer. How ironic is that?
Third ID check now.
Stop wasting time and let her in. 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 Stop wasting time. We're paying you to do a job. Member. What? What?
Even the old Bill's laughing.
Uncle, let her in.
Come on, Unks.
Uncle,
Come on, Uncle. Come on, Uncle. Come on, Uncle.
Oh, now how'd you go for you when you let her in?
Do you have to show him ID when you go round to his house? Put your passport through the letterbox.
The official number 10 biker.
It's alright for the cyclists, isn't it?
I know who's he anyway.
What a day to do it all. He's too busy preparing his resignation speech. That's what he's doing.
Well, he's like family aren't even living with him now.
Think he's going to be gone like after 7th of May. Yeah.
Really?
Well,
what left him or left the country?
No, she moved out at number 10.
A lot of political commentators believe that after
She moved out at number 10. If you ask me, she said that she never signed up to be a public figure. If you were dating someone...
Wasn't that at the very beginning though she moved out? She's not been...
No.
Is that recent then? Because I heard something like that when he first...
Watch Dan Wootton tonight.
There we go, guys. Watch Dan Wootton tonight. Dan Wootton's getting the plug.
Someone in the chat said, was the cyclist leaving a rent boy?
Yeah, he was a Ukrainian rent boy.
So guys,
We've got everyone waiting so patiently.
Should have come on a boat. Should have come on a boat.
Someone suggested you get an inflatable dinghy dress. That would get you in.
Yeah. And wear a life jacket.
Yeah, whack a life jacket on.
Speaking of boat, old Valentina's going to come by boat, is she?
Yeah.
No, they're going to stop her apparently. They'll stop her boat. Here we go. Get the glasses on, Shane. The glasses. Shane, get the glasses on. Go on, Shane. I hope he's pressing the record button. Go on.
There we go.
So they've been let in.
Pyjama girls.
Okay, guys. So that is that. Orla and Abby have now gone in to deliver the letter to Downing Street. Just gonna see if I can. They gone, yeah?
Yeah, they got it. Where did you go?
Oh, I was there.
I didn't know you could just book an appointment like that and just like.
Same, man. If you could just book an appointment.
You should just like.
So guys, it's been done. Now the rest will be up to Keir Starmer and Shabana Mahmood if they are prepared to face the Pink Ladies and face their crimes against this country that have allowed thousands and thousands of young women, girls and children and boys and men. Let's not forget men. There was a story where I read that an old man had been raped on the steps of a church. Let's not forget all of the people that have been assaulted, raped and murdered at the hands of this government and their pathetic virtue signalling, their suicidal empathy. So hopefully the Pink Ladies will get a response, but if we know our Prime Minister and his lack of courage, you never know. Well guys, I'm probably gonna wrap up the stream now. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm going to get home and I'm going to start editing this into a report. If you go on my channel, the second most recent video is kind of like the new newsreel show that I'm doing. So that's how I'm going to be doing reports from now on, so let me know if you guys like that. So this video is going to be turned into one of those reports. And yeah, I've got a couple more on the list, a few ideas ready as well. So yeah.
You won't be holding the camera, I'll be holding the camera.
Yeah, soon I'm going to have someone holding my stream for me. We're good. Well, you guys might remember Glenn. How secret do you want to be? You guys might remember Glenn, who bravely took over the live stream. If you were with me on October the 7th, when we saw pro-Palestinian protests on October the 7th, you know, recognise the significance of the date, and I actually got assaulted. And while I was making a police statement, Glenn took over the stream. And you know what? I like being hands-free so much that we're trying to figure out a way so that not only will I not be holding the stream won't be coming off a phone, it will be coming off an actual camera. So it will also look a lot better. And yeah, hopefully then, you know, battery will last longer, we'll be able to stream for longer at better quality. It's just going to be amazing. Onwards and upwards from here, but obviously it only happens with your guys' support. Every like, every share, every follow helps the channel grow. But if you would like to support and help cover the cost of either printing the magazine, distributing it, or covering the cost of travel to get to these protests, to cover the stories that the mainstream media refuse to, then please feel free to donate on the eSpeaks Freely website. I've got a donations page on there, or I've also got a Buy Me a Coffee. I have a Patreon where you can get behind the scenes content, and also if you'd like to have something physical back in order to contribute to the channel, then you can also order your copy of the Propaganda magazine, which is my free speech magazine. Issue 1 is on the website, issue 2 coming soon in May. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.